Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Noisy Neighbours podcast. I'm joined by my younger brother, Christian, after some holidays from me, then you. You were fresh back from Turkey last night. I caught you on the way out of your house where we did the watch along with our cousin Patrick. How are you, Christian? Are you pleased to be back?
Yes, bro, I'm pleased to be back. Good to be back on chatting with you. I was hoping last night when I landed, I saw you were 1-0 down. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get back home. I'll be just in time for extra time. It'll be a right fucking laugh. And then we'd finished collecting our cases and you turned it round. So I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the only one who thought it was thought extra time was looming because me around the 50th minute, if you watch it back on the watch along, me and Patrick are in complete meltdown. There's a bit where he got Shaw, Ahmad, and Mount ready to come on, and it was around the 55th minute, and I was like, God, just any subs will do.
Yeah.
And then it goes out for a throw in, nothing. Out for a corner, nothing. I'm like this. I'm like, just make the subs. Like it was.
When I joined, it was quite solemn. To be honest, it was quite a glum atmosphere. So I thought that.
I mean, anybody want to go watch from 50th minute till about the 60th? That's when we were in peak. When Ahmad and Shaw came on, we calmed a little bit and we got into the game. But the first hour was shocking. But yeah, anyway, and also, look what he's brought me back from Turkey. Fits like a dream. A nice, comfy, fake Cantona top.
Look at that. So, you can tell I've been Turkey, guys. Look at that.
Yeah, Montclair as well. We're fully repping it.
Aye. You know that's not real, lad.
Anyway, big one. So what happened today is we'll just give a little bit of background, really, for the episode. Obviously, you can see from the title, we're on here to talk about De Bruyne and his next move. Obviously we've not done an episode for about 2-3 weeks or something, just with long, I was off then, Christian was off. So I go on Instagram today and I see the odds for Kevin De Bruyne to join Liverpool is 9-2. That was this morning. So about 4.5 to 1 for people who need to, want to see it a bit more simply. So, pretty short, considering I know obviously they don't lay great odds for the next club market. However, there's a bit of background to this. Kevin De Bruyne, when he was a kid, there's a video of him, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 years old, asked who's your favourite team. He says Liverpool. He said the favourite stadium to play at other than City is Anfield. So there is a little bit there where, and then you think he is free. You've got to always remember that he's free. Yeah. I appreciate this. There could be a whole host of other clubs involved. However, I do feel like the situation with City, and I want to ask you a few things about it and how this has sort of gone. And I appreciate you got the FA Cup final, which might give it a nice twist if you win it. What is your initial reaction to him staying in England and, God forbid, going to Liverpool? Obviously, you love the player, what he's given to your club. How does that? What's your initial feeling towards that? Seeing him walk out of the Kop wearing number 17 for Liverpool, what's your feeling towards that initially?
Look, Alex, it'll hurt, and there's no City fan around the world that'll say it won't. But I'm quite proud of my club and the fans. I've not seen any stupid outcry, and especially not aimed at De Bruyne, because make no mistake, anyone that is pissed off at it, aim your frustration at the right individuals involved in this, and it is not De Bruyne. He wouldn't have to move his family. I know that's a big thing for him.
Good point.
He's already said he wants to stay fit for the next World Cup. He wants to play at the highest possible level. If he can do that, I truly don't blame him. But my issue is with City. I mean, what do you think? Do you think he could have done another year at City?
I mean, look, there's roles for players. For some reason, something weird has got. Look, I mean, he isn't going down quietly with this. There's clearly, obviously, the club let him announce it. Obviously, from interviews, he must be getting asked the question. I'm not blaming De Bruyne, but he isn't sort of shushing the questions. He is answering them with a little bit of feeling behind them, where he's like, "I wanted to stay. Don't get this twisted. I wanted to do another year at Man City, at least."
Oh, Alex, he's come out and said, mate, he's come out and said, if the contract was offered, he would have stayed. And he was under the impression, I think, that there was going to be a contract offered. And it wasn't. Look, we cannot have a go at him on where he picks and chooses to play his football in the future. He has got a little bit of an affiliation, like it or lump it, with Liverpool. And he wants to play at the highest level. Who are we to have a pop at him? Yeah. I'm pissed off at City because I truly believe that his recent performances, we have seen, he's gone up a level again. Was it a case that he's been saying he was struggling with injury and that he's now got himself okay and he feels like he can perform at the highest level for at least another couple of years? Because I genuinely think, look, we've got Gundogan for another year. I know that's a situation that was wrapped up because we give him this option and he's triggered it. But it does make me feel a bit sick to think I could see him playing for Liverpool. We've got Gundogan for another year. Kevin De Bruyne could have played a rotation role in this City squad. I don't think many City fans around the world would disagree with that. What would you say?
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing you mentioned there is rotation. And you know what's really weird about this is, since the announcement, he has been playing 90 minutes and not getting subbed, even when he was awful in the derby that we watched. I think he was poor at Everton that we did a group watch along at our friend's house. And he was playing 90 minutes. And it's like, even when he was struggling with injuries, he's getting subbed, he's getting rested, he's getting rotated. Now it's like, there you go, mate. We're forcing you out of the club, but you can play 90 minutes every week till the summer. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, surely, if you think he's good enough to play 90 minutes now, to your point, well, sign a deal and let him stay and let him play a rotation role next season. Yeah. Now, you said you run the risk. Look, I mean, I think you texted me about Napoli, didn't you? You said Napoli the favourites to sign him. And obviously, Conte is the coach of Napoli. He has no issue playing older players. And it's a Serie A thing. Look at Inter Milan. Average age of Inter Milan's team is 29, and they're in this Champions League final. So there's no issue there. Obviously, does De Bruyne want to go to Napoli? I've been to Naples. I'm not saying he'd be going to the places I was, but it was a bit of a shithole. No offence. You know what I mean? You said he's lived in England now 10 years.
Pizza's good though.
Pizza's good, yeah, but you can get that anywhere in Italy. Go to Milan. Go to Rome. We've been there. That was nicer. Honestly, Naples. Anyway, so that's a different topic, Naples. But yeah, so I don't get it from... I think the only way you can think about it is if City thought there was no way he'd stay in England. But why?
Here's the thing, Alex. I think we've been quite... This is why I thought this video was quite important to do. And like I said, I'm very happy that I've not seen anyone going for De Bruyne because it would be absolutely ridiculous to do so. However, do I think that people will go for him if he ever holds up the red shirt at Liverpool? Yeah, there will be individuals that go for him. And I certainly will not be one of them. And I'll be ashamed of anyone that does, because how can we be that arrogant to say, you're not good enough to play for us and we're going to sign your replacement, we want to lower the wage bill. Oh, but don't you dare sign for one of our rivals and make them better. No, that's not how this works. You have told him he can leave because he's not good enough for this level anymore. If one of our rivals proves us wrong, then that just makes us look fucking stupid. And that's all that is. So make sure you aim your anger at the right individuals that are involved and have really made this possible. Because De Bruyne would have never randomly signed for a rival in England. He's doing it because he wants to stay fresh. And you know what? Fair fucking play to KDB as well. Bit of a different take on it. How many have we seen that slump off to Saudi? And don't you think there's an offer there for him? Of course there is. He could go and earn $1 million a week if he wants to go and do that, and he's well aware. But he has no intention. He wants to stay at the highest level, and he wants to be in the best possible shape to play for his country and finally bring them something home. How can you not respect that? Whether you're City, whether you're Liverpool, United, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was actually thinking about this earlier about a comparison for this situation. If he went to Liverpool or another Premier League club, obviously like Chelsea, he's got a little bit of history there. Yeah. Arsenal, I don't think he's got a great relationship with Arteta. They have that little shove-in stuff, so I can't really see that, to be honest.
A push and a pull.
So it would be Liverpool makes sense because they seem to go in waves of spending, and at the minute they're not. So obviously he's a free for one, and like you said, I mean they've won the league, so to them it's risk free. How can he?
Of course it is.
He's not going to impact our 90-point season this year, and they've just signed Salah and Van Dijk to a re-up, and you're losing Arnold, so you've almost got that Arnold contract, and going, there you go, mate. Maybe even less.
Mate, this makes... this is just a little thing, Alex, before you continue, because it's relevant to what you've just said. He has already come out and said, in one of the many interviews he has done where he is obviously pissed off at City and shocked at the decision that has been made, he has said he was willing to not only play a bit part role, he understood he needed to maybe step down and let the younger lads have a go. In his words, and he said that he'd have happily taken a pay cut. So, I don't know whether that exactly came from him. I think that was more reports around his camp that he would have happily taken less money, which I completely I know that would be a factual anyway, because if he's considering staying in England, he knows no one's going to pay him 400k a week. So of course he would have took a pay cut. And this is where I don't understand. I think we have disrespected him a little bit. I feel like sometimes I used to get at Madrid for this, where you've had these legends play for your club. Bayern, the same with Muller at the moment. They're going through a similar situation. And I feel like, yes, there comes a point where they're not that level anymore. They're not that same player. But have they earned the right, the respect to choose when they leave? I know within reason, of course, that comes, you've got to tell them it's time. Yeah. I just feel they've earned that right. A little bit of respect, a little bit of leeway. And the end of his current contract to just go, that's it. We're cutting the wage bill down. We're going replacing you. It's a bit cutthroat, and I don't particularly like it from my club because I've hammered other teams for it. So I've got to be consistent.
I mean, while you was away, I did a gigs episode with my friend who loves gigs, and the weird thing about, obviously, that Giggs interview with Rio, you've probably not seen it. Giggs said the first 5 years of his career was his favourite, and the last 5 years of his career were as equal to favourite. So they were the two most memorable parts of his career, which is interesting. And the last 5 years, Giggs transformed himself into a centre mid, and he was a centre mid in a 4-4-2. We won a league title with him in there, playing here and there. Champions League, he played every single game in centre mid with Carrick and got to the final.
He had more lives than a cat, didn't he?
Yeah, and obviously Giggs made the yoga thing, and he really looked after himself, like, towards the back end of his career. And Giggs took 1 year deals throughout. Like, that was a United thing where it's like, you get, after the age of 30, you get a 1 year deal. That was the United, that was the Fergie way, the David Gill way. And what's interesting with this is that I think, this is just my take with City, I think that City have moved players on in the past, right, in the right time. I think that they were looking at this last summer after the FA Cup final, and there was concern about what do we do here. I know he's got a year left, so you can't literally boot him out, or you'd have to sell him for a fee. But I think they were like, you know what, let's see how we do this season. The season's not gone very well by your standards. And now I think they're just like, it's because of the way the season's gone, the cutthroat approach has come, and it's like, now you're hearing it from De Bruyne. We're like, was there a different way we could have gone around about this? I think they've just gone, no, we've waited a year too long. You're gone, basically. That's how I think.
Do you agree, though, Alex? So with the point I was making and leaning to, do you think, would you be pissed off at your club? You mentioned Giggs and how all the players are treated. Do you feel like a player, certainly the same as Bayern with Muller, do you think sometimes they earn that respect where they can... Listen, I'm not saying he gets to choose, he has another 4 year deal on 400 grand a week. I know that's not possible. Yeah. I'm just saying, within reason, do you not think he deserves the respect to maybe negotiate a situation where it can be a compromise for both parties?
I think in this case I would have given another year. Yeah, I think there's a similarity with, like, say, the Rooney. Rooney was a pawn in the Lukaku deal with Everton, which you might think is a little bit disrespectful. But Rooney was finished at 30, so Rooney couldn't really play. At the he couldn't really play at Europa League level. Unfortunately, and this is one of the all-time greats. De Bruyne can play. I mean, look, if he goes to look at the clubs we're talking about, Liverpool, Napoli, Chelsea, potentially, it looks like it's going to be a Champions League club.
Oh, Alex, 100%.
Rooney went to Everton because he sort of read the room a little bit. Giggs kept signing 1 year deals, and Scholes came back for a derby. You remember that, didn't you? You were there, weren't you? So Scholes and Giggs kept getting the 1 year deals, and they played 25 games a season. And they were happy with that. The club were happy with that. The thing is with that is, though, Scholes and Giggs were performing at a level we were happy with. I think there's a rash decision in here because of the City way is Silva, Fernandinho, Aguero, company. You guys are going, even if you're a starter. We're looking at the next season. We don't think you're going to be there. You're gone. And I think they've just done this with De Bruyne, but maybe that wasn't the right call. And look at, I don't know how this is going to play out. Obviously, you've got to replace him, and you've got to watch him play for another club. It could be Liverpool. I'm not ruling it out.
I suppose I want to add balance to the argument. I'm not all for, just hammering the club in this situation. We can't act like it's all it's been all a bed of roses this year. It hasn't. He has dropped some performances
Yeah.
where we've all been alarmed and we've all said shit. Like, have his legs just completely gone? Of late, the performances have come back, so it's probably like a bit rough on City because
But
when it was
inconsistency. Yeah.
announced, it was like everyone was like, sort of understand it.
Yeah.
Then his performances was really upped. Whether that's because of the decision that spurred him on, maybe he's doing it to showcase himself off for
But
a move.
do you not think though that the club and the manager, that's their job to put them in positions to perform in moments? So when we talk about Giggs and Scholes, go and check their appearances from 2010 onwards.
Yeah.
They aren't playing weekly and 90 minutes.
No.
And it's also being selective of the opposition. Look, Fergie obviously played Giggs against Barca in a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
We didn't really have anything else, in fairness. The squad wasn't great, and it had worked up until then. So clearly, there was no way we could win that game with or without Giggs in centre mid.
Yeah.
But then when we played against Chelsea were a slower side. Then we had Schalke. Giggs in centre mid worked. He could control the game. He said it himself again on Rio. He's like, I still had a little bit of a burst here and there.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been playing league games. He wouldn't have been playing against powerful teams. You put him in positions.
You manage it.
Exactly. Like he played 90 minutes against Everton, against Decore, Ghana Gay.
Alex, you make a great point, and I think this is where we have almost. He's been a bit of a scapegoat for City's season, and we've lumped it on De Bruyne. If it was all going good and we had Rodri in and the defence looked solid and it was like the treble season, De Bruyne's drop-off this year, it would have never been a thing and he would have been renewed for another year. But it's almost like we're looking for someone to blame. Yeah. And it's like, well, it's not working. We're conceding a load of goals. Rodri's out. We've lost. Walker's legs have gone. Oh, and you, De Bruyne, your fucking legs have gone and he's out the door. And it has gone a bit now, scattergun. And it's like, do you have a plan in place? Fair enough, guys. If you think De Bruyne, time is time with that, I disagree. I think he should have got another year. Many City fans agree. Some maybe not.
Yeah.
What I would like to know, and what we would all like to know, and what we surely all City fans could agree on, we need a plan in place because you are losing a high-level player, even at where he's at in his career. We've seen in recent performances, he's dragging us over the line pretty much single-handedly to a Champions League spot. And then we're saying he's not good enough to play for the club. So if you're running with that narrative, it better not be Morgan Gibbs-White that you're thinking of bringing in his fucking place, because I'm not happy with that whatsoever at all.
I think. Look, this is what's confused me the most. Is it's like it's not been. It's just like you're either starting 50 games a season or you're gone. And like you said, I think a player of his caliber and what he's given to the club and what he could still give to the club, it takes like think of the worst games that we've seen recently. Everton and United, they might have been back to back. Can't remember exactly, or they were very close in the fixture list. Ugarte, Casemiro, definitely Ugarte covers a lot of ground, puts a lot of pressure on opponents. Idrissa Gay, Ghana Gay, and Decore. And whoever their other centre mid is, I can't remember. Liam will be able to fill me in on that. But you get my point. He's going to be getting physicaled by these opponents, and he was poor in those games. You also have inconsistencies from playing a lot of minutes. It's not just your opponent. It can sometimes be your legs. You do feel your legs a little bit more one day. I remember a great thing that different sports, so forgive me, but basketball, Kobe Bryant in his last season, they play every 2-3 games, and one every so often he'd just have a 35-point game, and they were like, what happened tonight, Kobe? Like, you've been dropping 15, 16 points, you're struggling. And he goes, some nights I've got my legs. And that's it. And he just said it. He just said, look, tonight I could jump and shoot the three. And it's the same principle in football. Some days De Bruyne will just have his legs. There's not a medical reason. It's just a case of being 34 years old with God knows how many miles on the clock. And City haven't managed it. Guardiola's got,
Sorry, I was just going to say, it's ironic because the same people who are making the decision that he's not at the level anymore and he needs to be moved on are the same people who, in my opinion, have put us in this mess and let us down and let Kevin De Bruyne down because they have brought people in of which have never been at the level that we could actually afford to rest him, like you've just said with your guys, where you were selective with Giggs, Scholes and them games. We've not been allowed that luxury because the guys that are making the decision to move Kevin De Bruyne out of the club ultimately failed to
Mm.
try and find his successor. And now we're in a mess because now you're getting rid of the guy before we've even been linked to the guy that we know's replacing him. Other than that, if it's that guy that we're all thinking of, it's deeply concerning. So it is, the whole thing is a bit of a shit show. I feel like he has been let down, and then they're also kicking him while he's down, going, actually, you're not at that level as well. You can go. No, you've created this mess by putting him in a scenario where he has to be the guy that either delivers or we don't win football matches.
Do you
That's on
think
us.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you think there's a little bit of the way it's played out with this 90 minutes every game all of a sudden? And I appreciate you're not in Europe, so it's a little bit more spaced out. But you take my point. He's not even been getting subbed, even in those 2 awful games that he had. He didn't get hooked. Do you think there's a little bit of regret from Guardiola the way it's panning out a little bit, where he's getting these 90 minutes and it's like almost a farewell tour? Like,
you'd have to think so. I'm shocked and especially knowing like Pep's. Look, I don't know their in-depth relationship, but from what we see, from what's been shown to the public, they have a really good relationship. And, them emotional scenes when we won the Champions League, and he's like, we did it, Kev. He was the last one from the Pep era, from when he came in. It was it's an emotional time, and I'm shocked that Pep has obviously, he's green-lighted this decision, because I don't believe this happens without Pep's opinion. I don't believe the City bought like Khaldoon has gone, this is a purely financial move. Pep, I'm sorry, he's going. I don't. City have way too much respect. Khaldoon and Pep have such a good relationship. That
and way
never
too much
happened.
money as well. You're not counting. You're not penny pinching. Yeah.
No, exactly. But yeah, that never happened, and I don't think many people will believe that. Look, Alex, it confuses me. And also I think it's a confirmation of that, because I feel like the things that KDB has come out and said leans to, he was shocked at the decision. He has had a good relationship with Pep. Everything he said in little snippets to different news outlets, I think he is a bit dumbfounded by the decision to let him go, and he feels a bit unfairly done by. So he's certainly not going to look at this. He loves the fans love him, the club loves him. He's a club legend, he always will be. Make no mistake. Look, a similar thing happened with Frank Lampard. It didn't tarnish his, and he even scored against them for City as well. A really weird situation. That did not tarnish them. They were all chanting his name after the game, and he went over to them. He was Chelsea through and through. He might have scored for City that day.
Yeah. Usually, it's. I mean, look, it's another year on the body with De Bruyne. You don't look, if he comes back, say he does sign for Liverpool, comes back in September, and he is completely useless. Then City, they're going to be vindicated, obviously. Though that's the flip side of that. We do have to look at it from that perspective, that this might look, the Lampard thing. He wasn't a starter for City, was he? He was a proper bench player. But like you said, it was a role. This is unique in the way of, you sit there going, oh God, but what if? What if he's a starter for 23, 24 games of the Prem season? Liverpool go back to back. That's
they go back to back. He wins I mean, that, I've got to be honest, that would hurt. Look, it hurts to imagine him in another football shirt, and especially Liverpool. But to see him lift a trophy for another club, let alone the Premier League, that would absolutely stink.
Well, you don't have to imagine it, because it's on the thumbnail. So
you cheeky bastard.
I've got to be honest, I was trying to find one of him in a United top, but even the lunatics
I'll tell you what, if you'd have done that, I'd have gone to the chat, I'd have deleted it.
Maybe if
that's
I just
not going up.
Maybe if I just try and like put him on my face or something on Canva, maybe that might work.
Bloody hell, lad. I know he's let himself go, but Christ almighty.
Hercules.
Bloody hell, he won't be getting a new club if you do that, Alex.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Liverpool. I used to be able to do bits.
But no, in all seriousness, look, we had a situation where James Milner went to Liverpool, and then he went and won trophies. I mean, God, how long did he go on for there?
It felt like he was there for longer than he was at City.
It felt like he did a decade in the end. It was ridiculous.
No, but I think you're right. I mean, look, there's you can pull similarities. The only difference I would say is we don't know what he's going to look like next year. That's the only difference. Is you're listing players that were a little bit washed. He might be. He might be fucking completely washed. Yeah. You do get this where, like, me and Patrick were talking about it last night about some Prem to Prem signings. We were talking about Mount, and I was saying, when a big club signs off a big club, for a fee. Appreciate this is a free transaction, De Bruyne. So, like I said, even if he is completely washed, Liverpool ain't losing any sleep over it. But we were talking about the Mount deal, and I was like, I don't like it because if they're selling to a rival, i.e. Chelsea to United or United to Liverpool,
What does that
or
tell
Liverpool,
you?
think about some examples in the past, and I'm going to go back a little bit here in history because obviously I'm older than you.
Yeah.
Veron, United to Chelsea, like this guy can't do it in the Prem. Good player, can't do it in the Prem. Torres, big one. Now Carragher said on this, he said Liverpool knew he was coming to the end physically. He'd had injuries, he was struggling that season, and his only 2 games that were good that season were against Chelsea. And Liverpool were like, this is our window. This is our window to push him that way. And you think of all these times where it's like, I remember who did we get? I mean, look, even Van Persie,
Alexis.
amazing.
Would you put Alexis in there?
Sanchez, Mkhitaryan swap deal, awful. Van Persie, good for 1 year, awful after that. So obviously in this scenario, it's completely different because there's no risk attached. Literally, there's no.
I think the thing is for Liverpool as well. It's that they're coming off the back of losing Trent. Their fans are in uproar. Then they're not happy after you sending me that screenshot the other day. So they're in a situation where I think a marquee signing it boosts them.
I tell you what, Christian,
it boosts the fans.
Just thinking as well, just thinking out loud about losing Arnold and what he delivers. De Bruyne can plug some of that. Okay,
Alex, this is a massive thing. Who have we always said in the Premier League who has similarities with that inside when he cuts in from and the inside 8 position with swinging them right footed crosses in? There's no one else in world football that does it other than KDB with Trent. So it does make a lot of sense. I hope they don't see it making as much sense as I do because they'll fucking end up with him. And I pray I see him in a Napoli shirt. I'd much rather see him in a City, but that's not going to happen. However, I did want to just put this to you. Do you think, like you made a point, we have played him every game? I mean, I don't know. Is it a farewell tour, or could there be some sort of U-turn? Like, do you genuinely think there's something in the water?
I don't see it. I don't see it's gone too far. It would have happened already. And
yeah, I agree. I just wanted to play devil's advocate.
I have thought it myself as well. To be fair, like, is there something that could be U-turn? But it feels just like I just don't think there's any way back. Honestly, maybe De Bruyne is like, fuck you, even if City did come back to him. Because it looks like he's going to get an offer. I mean, look, this is the whole point of the episode is we don't know who. The thing is as well that strikes me about Liverpool is that their midfield 3 is brilliant combination.
Yeah.
What really they've no backup. They've no backup for that. Curtis Jones is their backup. I'm not saying De Bruyne could be, but look, this is a thing where it's like he could easily rotate with all 3 of them, really, because if you swap him with Gravenberch, McAllister will sit. If you swap him with Szoboszlai, it's like for like. If you swap him with McAllister, he's got Gravenberch.
Oh, it's making me feel ill thinking about this.
Or just play him at right back and fucking watch.
Just do a mad one. Well, he'd have the same defensive ability as the other idiot that's gone, so it won't make a difference.
We've actually improved at right back. We've got De Bruyne.
Somehow he doesn't get skinned as by Jeremy Doku as much.
Yeah, facts. Salah's like, God, I've never had to do as much little tracking. Oh my God! If I see Salah and De Bruyne on the same side of the pitch, my head will fall off.
It'll be sickening. But there's just a part of it where, if you get told, look, we've all been in situations in our own lives where if you get told you're not good enough at something, you get the opportunity to prove them wrong. You're going to fucking do it. And I don't care what level that is. Look, he does have respect for the fans and he has respect for the club. Do not get that twisted if he does make a decision to stay in the Premier League. I do honestly think in my heart of hearts, he probably will go to a Napoli or someone like that, or maybe I know the MLS club are really, really pushing for him, Chicago Fire or something. So, look, I do think he probably will do that, but there's a part of me that thinks if Liverpool do make a beeline and they make him a good offer, he has openly said he wants to play at the highest level. Now, Liverpool eclipses all the other offers on the table currently in world football, unless fucking PSG go in for him, or one of the other big boys. So, and he would think personally, I get to prove these guys wrong. If I get to stay in the Prem, possibly fucking lift it, I can prove all them guys that told me I weren't good enough.
I'm feeling a bit ill for you here, actually. I've got to be honest, I don't even like the sound of this myself. I can't even wind you up about it. It's that weird.
No, mate, it's bad.
You get
It's
it.
not
I
good.
remember when Van Persie signed, and this was like I just couldn't imagine him in a United top until he actually had one on. You know, it was. This is like, I mean, this would be fucking insane if this happened.
It is similar to the Lampard. It is similar to the Lampard
similar to
one.
Lampard, except we don't know what he's got left. And the only thing I would say is, at the time, City were not off the back of winning a league, were you?
I tell you, well, one thing I would say is Lampard was much more physically fucked than KDB was at the time.
Yeah,
and City thought they'd take a
definitely.
punt on it, so that's the irony.
And
I know we've completely transitioned since then. However, I think the big concern for me is we've seen he can hit these levels still against top-class opponents. At this point in time, he has said he's felt discomfort for a long time in his body. And for the first time in recent... You know, he said he feels better.
Yeah.
Well, he could be talking. Who knows? Who knows if he's lying or if he's not? But
don't get it twisted, mate. These guys play through stuff, and you know when you see. Look, we judge players if they're on the team sheet, they're on the pitch. We judge them as 100% fit. That's will not be the case. However, look, this is what'll happen. A bad game, they come in the press and go, "Actually, I've been struggling with something." Excuses, PR. That's what they'll get. So they never do it. So we always have to take it as face value, the 100% bit. That's never the case.
No, it isn't.
It's possible. It's possible what Kev's saying is true. And
then, Alex, the side part of that I just wanted to mention, if he is telling the truth on that, and this is the first time he's felt that he's comfortable to play football, and we're seeing a significant rise in his performances, then what does that mean? Does that mean he could potentially play a crucial role for Liverpool for 2 years? That does scare me. Because then I think, my God, now my team is still in a top-class player we're going to actually come up against. We've made them significantly better, and we've got to deal with the emotional distress of watching him play for fucking Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's two sides to the coin. But what I would say, Alex, in this, even at the level we are selling him at, I just want to reiterate, you have to have someone in mind. Now, we are chasing Wirtz, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he wants the City, and I don't even think he wants Madrid. I think he is going to Bayern, and he's waiting that out. He will either go this summer, or I think he'll go next summer. The Florian Wirtz shit better not be a smokescreen by City to go, oh, well, we tried, and then we end up with fucking Gibbs White and Belieber from Brighton. No, that's not working. If you're letting De Bruyne go and possibly making Liverpool better, I want to see you bringing in. You said you were lowering that fucking wage bill to bring someone in. So don't let it be some substandard fucking Grealish bollocks that we're going to end up with. Another situation like that, where he's on the bench and we're rotating Gonzalez, Gundogan. We don't know what condition Rodri's coming back in. It could really be a mess. You better have a name, and we better find it out soon.
This is the thing. I mean, you could be looking at a United situation here where you go, De Bruyne would get in this team next season, and I mean, God forbid. I hope you're saying that when he's playing with Napoli and not with Liverpool. I mean, that's the terrifying thing is Liverpool have got a war chest of money this summer. They spent nothing last year. They've now won the league. Obviously, they've qualified for the Champions League every year for God knows how long. This. Let's just say they go and get Isaac with their money, right? And that's it. They go, fuck this, we'll just go and get Isaac. And then we'll go and get De Bruyne. Even without De Bruyne, they're favourites for the title next year. There's too many question marks over City and Arsenal. I mean, fucking hell.
We're a complete rebuild. Arsenal are regressing somehow. So
Liverpool are going to go from fucking Núñez to Isaac. If you're going to tell me that, I will be... Look, and I've got massive respect for City and Guardiola. I think they could... They're the favourites. They're the favourites. Bookies. God forbid you go and get De Bruyne on a free.
Yeah.
You know, like this is the realistic situation. Then one title becomes two, becomes three. You've just seen your team win four. I mean, Christ alive.
Alex, this is the thing, and me and you spoke about this a lot, and we've fucking hammered this through. For any viewers that have been there from the start, they would know. We have always said this. It takes one or two bad transfer windows, and then suddenly, a third one comes. And then you're letting the guys that were previously your mainstays are now coming to the end of their tenures, and you've got another bad transfer window. You're fucked. Next minute, you are starting a rebuild, and the rebuild was overdue 2 windows back. Yeah. You're chasing your tail, and we currently, let's be honest, I do genuinely think City are in a bit of a mess. The only reason we are high up the table is because everyone else is so inconsistent. Yeah. But the title winning players that we have had, we've now got a front three where the only one who is going to produce week after week is Haaland. The other two is like this rotation of, you've had Bernardo on the wing, you've had Savinho, you've had Doku. They're all so inconsistent. Well, I mean, we know what we get with them guys. It's, Savinho has a shot, it never reaches the fucking net. That's what we get with him. He 30 shots a game, 30 blocks somehow. Me and you spoke about that one. I think to make us better, you just said there'd be a question mark where I could potentially say, would De Bruyne get in this team? Alex, we have to strike in probably 4 or 5 areas for me to say, no, he wouldn't. Now, the odds of doing that in the summer, they're bleak. So that's where I'd probably leave it.
I think that's a very good way to summarise it, to be honest. I mean, look, God knows what's going to happen. The season's not even over. You've still got the FA Cup, which I know you're hopeful of, and we'll preview that another day.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously, we're definitely doing a watch along. But it's just a shame it's gone sour, really. I know, obviously, if you win the FA Cup and he goes to Napoli, and I'm sure you'll get applauded all the way to Italy. He'll be playing with Scott McTominay. That's just as equally as much of a head fuck. If I see him,
as if he's not been through enough.
McTominay will score 15 goals with him next year.
No, he is good. Yeah, he has got a good head on him, to be fair. No, just on that, mate. In all honesty, whatever KDB chooses, whether that be England, as hard as it would be, whoever he chooses, he has got the full backing of City fans, or especially the real City fans, who appreciate what he has done for this club and what he elevated us to levels that we never thought we'd see. Remember that, no matter where he picks. And remember also, it was our decision to tell him he couldn't perform at this level anymore. So don't go at him, and that's just where I'd want to leave it.
Yeah, I hear you. Just what if it is United?
In that case, I'm not having it. That would never in a million years.
If he chooses United, forget physically, he's mentally ill.
Alex, I'm being serious. That would be a poor decision for himself. I mean,
I wouldn't even advise that.
Mate, him and Casemiro.
The uncles.
God. Oh dear God, no! He couldn't do it to himself. Yeah. Surely not. But yeah.
Forget physically, he needs a padded cell if you pick United. Right? And that's, I mean, look.
Has anyone ever seen The Joker?
Yeah, I know, yeah. Fucking hell. Gasoline and fucking money. That's what our transfer approach. The Joker. You know that scene where he pours fucking gasoline and shucks the cigar? That's what we do every summer. 50 mil fucking Ugarte. There you go. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to have you back, Christian. Thanks a lot for that.
Good to be back,
let's
mate.
see how this unravels, and we've got loads more to get into, loads more watch-alongs. But back to normal watch-alongs, pods. Join us.
We've got some big ones, haven't we? The 2 cup finals, back to back. That's going to be absolute chaotic. I will be bringing my trumpet, doing that silly song that Spurs do. And hopefully they can. Andrew said he wins in his second season.
I'll tell you, I will be doing the Alan Pardew dance for any goal. You know my luck. I'll end up doing that. It'll get VAR'd, and I will be clipped doing the Pardew dance.
Can you just do it? Yeah, but the channel will blow up. It'll be so good.
It'll be as ridiculous as what Pardew did. Because they went on to lose that against.
I really want to get you massively steamed up before the game, and you'll actually do it.
Oh, there's no doubt. Christian, I will.
Oh, dear.
Right, brilliant. We're going to wrap it. Thanks a lot, Christian. Appreciate it. See you guys in the next one.
Awesome. Cheers.